Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to finish this thing up. Took some days off, but we got the rest of our parts and pieces, so let's get this thing knocked out. We'll start by putting our flywheel back on. I think the key is down at the bottom. So you have a key on your shaft, and then you probably can't see it on this camera, but you'll have a small groove cut into your flywheel that needs to line up with that key, and this is magnetic, so it'll feel like it's sticking on there without actually being in the keyway. So try and verify that as best as you can. My head's probably going to get in the way on some of these shots because I have to be able to look at it, so I apologize. So on this particular one, guys, for the naked eye, you can actually see that the key on the shaft is now engaged in the keyway, so we should be good there. We'll go ahead and put our washer and nut on. Then I will run it in with an impact. And it should be good. We have a new gasket. I will go, actually, it should be right here. It's another Vertex gasket, guys. Pretty important to get this side sealed up so you don't get a lot of moisture in there. If you saw the first portion of this, the flywheel and stator were both pretty rusty. It's had quite a bit of moisture in there. So we're going to reseal it. Hopefully that'll help us out. Okay guys, we got it flipped around to the clutch side now, so we will start putting our wet clutch system back together. There's a bushing that goes over the main shaft on your transmission, and then you have a couple sets of needle bearings that go over that. You will have a gear on the back of your clutch basket and your center clutch hub. I think it's probably easier to put these things together separately. So that back gear is going to line up with your kickstart gear, and then your clutch basket outer gear will line up with the crankshaft. This is splined, so we can put our inner hub on, and then your clutch pack, which we kept our clutch pack on the same order that it came out. If you are putting a new clutch pack in, which will be typically frictions and steels, I think they recommend that you soak it in a bag of oil or a container of oil for at least 24 hours prior to putting it in the machine. That allows these frictions to absorb oil. I think typically they say to put it in some kind of motor oil. I always just put it in case oil because that's the oil it's going to be living its life in anyways. Ours are still super oily. So we'll throw these back together. Okay, next thing that we are going to do is secure the inner hub. That's this guy right here. So there is this little retainer ring. I don't know if you guys remember when we looked at it the first time during disassembly, it was pretty bent up. I did manage to get these top ears straightened back. With any kind of metal, the more you bend it, the more fatigue it has, the weaker it is. I think we'll be okay. I don't think it's going to cause us too much grief. But these two ears should fit around one of the raised portions of the inner hub, which keeps that from spinning. So the ears are going to point in towards your engine. And then we'll run. Sorry guys, this thing was dirty. So we're going to go washer, retainer, nut. And then see if we can figure out what size that is. Okay, then we need to find one of these ears that we can bend forward up against the flat edge of the nut to keep it from spinning. And I think it's going to be for us either this guy down here or this one up top. Once we get it started bent forward, I'll just finish it off with a chisel and a hammer. Make sure it's snug against that nut. Yeah, we got a good tight fit there. Okay, now we can put, this is going to be the shaft that runs from our clutch side over to our clutch actuator. You'll see it has kind of a little clip on this end. That side is going to face out towards the clutch, whereas this side faces towards our clutch actuator. That little clip is what holds this into the end. Oh, I'm gonna have to get the flashlight out, guys. For some reason, we can't get past this ridge here, so give me just a second. Okay, guys, I think we might have just been catching the clip on the outer edge. Let's see if we can. Okay, we are in now. There's a small ball bearing because this is the older style, and the ball bearing is going to go inside of this cap, and then the cap should clip into this shaft. And if you hold a little bit of pressure against it and then run your actuator over here, I don't know if you guys can see it moving, but you will feel it move out actually quite a bit, probably a 1/4 inch or more as you move your actuator. That just means you have all the parts and pieces in the right place. So we'll put our outer plate on. I will grab the bolts for these. We'll get those started, and that'll finish up our clutch side. We should be able to put our clutch cover on after that. Okay guys, a couple things to look out for when you're putting the cover back on this side. You will need your water pump shaft to line up with the pin inside your counterbalance shaft. As you can see, this water pump shaft has a groove cut in it. The pin inside will ride inside this groove, and that's what causes your water pump to spin. If you're having troubles getting on, especially at the front of the motor, it's probably because those two things aren't lined up. Don't start hammering on it. You'll break the ears off of this, and then you'll be getting a new water pump shaft. We already put the gasket on the cover itself because that's where our dowels were to help keep it lined up. And I threw it up on top of a block so I have a little bit more room to maneuver underneath it. Oh. Okay, so ours was lined up pretty good. It slid right on. I did replace the seal on this while I had it off, so that'll have a fresh seal on it. Did not get into the water pump. It was working fine before we took it apart. We do have the parts and pieces to fix it if we absolutely have to, but we can do that from the outside anyways. Okay guys, I will go around and snug these up with the impact, and we'll throw the camera up on a stand. I'll get the chassis in here, and I'm actually going to put this in the chassis before I put the top end on it. I didn't take the fuel tank or anything off, so it's just kind of a space saver to leave the top end off. We'll get it inside the chassis, and then we can do the top end. It should be ready to rip.